Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 Cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero, coming back to you on this lovely Sunday, April 30th, end of the month, for another episode of Portfolio Updates. First off and foremost, shout out to the bag chasers. You will be getting this first, April 30th, last day of the month. We're closing out the month on a positive note. Got some questions for you. Got some answers for you. Got some things that I want to look at that I found kind of interesting to go on my little beginning soliloquy. But before we do that, let's get to the business. As the channel is growing, as things are changing, the world of YouTube moves fast. Life moves fast. We are forced to pivot. I wanted to take a second to give a shout out to those who are and have been supporting me. All of you who have supported me monetarily, you're getting ready to start seeing some things happening. We're going to see some posts. I got some stuff coming in. We're working on the studio. We're learning things. We're getting different camera angles. We're getting better cameras. Booyah. How about that? We're making some upgrades around here because I do not live off of the money that I make in this space. So it is 100% going right back into the projects that I have going. So for those of you who have donated monetarily, understand that money does not go in my pocket. It goes right back into the studio, and you're going to see things moving as we make some upgrades, as we do some pivoting, as the shows get better. And I appreciate all of you for that. My moderators, to all my mods that are on my live streams that I don't deserve, thank you so much. Your guys' support has definitely taught me. I am learning from you as we are going through things. Special thank you to Natasha Vincent for those of you who watch Guns and Butter, which is still going to be going on. Can't stop, won't stop over there. Natasha has done every single thumbnail for Guns and Butter since it started of her own volition. I can't say how much I appreciate her. It's because of her that I am doing that. Next to the Modfather, I'd say her and the Modfather, as far as moving in these YouTube streets, in these spaces, as far as supporting people, helping them get into position, and really just having people's backs. It doesn't. They're a rare breed, and I can't say how much I appreciate her support because of all that she's done for me. So thank you. Special thank you to Natasha. Thank you to all the mods, though. Definitely, you guys all show big support, and I'm going to keep improving because of you. Thanks for the feedback. Actually, this is a special shout out to my brother, Uncle Charles. He pours into me all the time. And he was the person who originally told me that I needed to have my face on the screen for my shows outside of the panel. And, it took a while. I took the critique, and, we're learning. We're working on some stuff. I'm making some stuff happen. So, like, I am taking all feedback that's given. Speaking of feedback that's given, ways to support the channel, definitely like, share, and subscribe. On the new layout, easy way to support also, if you want to support monetarily, is the Cash App. It's up there at the top of the screen. I've got a banner going at the bottom of the screen that is shouting out all of the networks, channels. It's got some ways for you to connect with me. Make sure that if you're catching this video for the first time, at Reckless Ray Dinero on YouTube, Ray B_crypto on Twitter, Instagram, at Reckless Ray Dinero, and don't forget to follow. Special shout out to High Value Net, at High Value Net, High Value Network. That's going to be the next phase, the next project, the next hill, I guess. Like, I'm enjoying this YouTube stuff a little bit. So we're going to take it a little bit more seriously. And there was an opportunity to do something with a homie of mine. Shout out to Casey Mo. We're going to work on some stuff it's going to be fun. We're going to have some fun over there. We're going to do some learning, going to learn a lot of stuff. That's what we're doing here. We're learning and building. If you wish to contact me, obviously any of my socials down in the description, you will see a bunch of information. If you're just starting out in crypto, there's a bunch of information down there. Moving forward, some other products that I use will be finding their way down into that description. So there'll be some bonus referral game, stuff like that. Obviously helps. So in order to contact me directly, obviously all the socials, it's just me. I'm not big enough to have an assistant or anyone else answering my emails. So you can email me at recklessraydinero@gmail.com. That is me. I do answer those emails. I do check that email. Collaborations, stuff like that. Anybody who feels it's necessary to contact me, that's also my suggestion box. If you would do it there, questions, concerns, answers will be done live on the stream. And yeah, so for those of you who will be catching this in May, which will be May 3rd, happy hump day. Hope you're making it through your week all right. And if you're not, it's not too late to pivot. We're going to jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and bring to the screen. Let me get the right screen, though. This is a little bit different, but it's a lot easier for me to work, so I'm kind of liking it. It's just the computer's moving a little slow. Okay, let me bring this to the screen so that way we can get into this business here. We're going to start off with the top 10 countdown. In position number 1, we've got Ethereum, ETH. Number 2 is Synthetics Network, SNX. Number 3 is USD Coin, USDC. Number 4 is Arbitrum, ARB. Number 5 is Wrapped Bitcoin, WBTC. Number 6 is Yearn, CRV, YCRV. Number 7 is Bitcoin, the original orange pill, BTC. Number 7 is Alchemix, ALCX. Hold on. I always miscount these. 7 is number 8 is Alchemix, ALCX. Like, Jesus, how it's late in the day. I want to say it's early in the morning, but it's late in the day and I've been lounging all day. Number 9 is Synthetic Bitcoin, SBTC. And number 10 is Frax, FRAX. Now, Let's go back up to the pie chart so you guys can see the skinny on this. We're hitting a downturn, people. We've hit a couple of downturns. It's been volatility's kicking in. We're gearing up to get ready for the bull run. There are some pre-bull run runs before the actual bull run. We are not in the bull run yet. We are moving pretty sideways down, but the chart doesn't look good on the 7-day. Like there's some volatility there. As you can see on the pie chart, it's got the ETH is still Big Daddy. Synthetics is still second place Big Daddy, but we're making some moves in our buying structure. Now that we got that last push of ETH into the market, I am buying direct into positions, and those positions will start showing up on the top 10 as I am just converting straight over into those coins and making those purchases. One of the things that I find interesting is how freaked out people get after we have a run up and then the retracement happens. And for me personally, the way that I look at this is when the price is low, I just buy more. Even if you're actually following the rule cost of dollar cost average, you get more of whatever it is that you're buying when the price dips, even if it's the same amount of money that you're putting into the market. But what I've decided to do, and we talked about this a couple episodes back, is I go all in. Like I'm only buying on a retracement of 1% or more on the 24-hour for any token that I'm going into. With that said, that means that like some of these weeks, like if we're during a big run and it's just consistently going up at all times and there's no retracement, I just won't be buying. I'll just be stacking cash waiting for that pullback to happen. And then when the pullback does happen, I'll just buy more then. Fortunately, every time paydays rolled around or I've had extra money, we've been in some volatility. So it's like we'll have a good week, good 2 weeks maybe, and then we'll have a good week, 2, 3, 4 weeks of either sideways movement or backwards movement. And right now we are facing that backwards movement. The thing that I always remind people is if you're looking at a position in the fashion in which we are looking over here in this side of the line, in this camp, we're building positions on 5 years, 12 years minimum, or not 12 years, 12 months minimum. One shift in the market in a week period in the grand scheme of at minimum a year should not be making you completely run out of the market. If you are, you might want to reevaluate if you are trying to be in this market as a long-term investor or if you're just a trader. Now, I can't speak to traders. Those aren't my people. That's not my camp. That's not how I navigate. But I do know that in the long-term traders generally beat out the day traders, the people who are in and out of the market on the daily. Now, with that said, there was another thing that I wanted to look at, and it was an interesting conversation. So I want to pull up a couple of coins here that I had earlier today. And it's when people are talking about their picks. And you'll notice I don't have picks on this channel. I don't do picks. I show you what I'm doing with my money. I'm not telling you what you should do with your money. This is not financial advice. I don't recommend trusting random people on the internet. But what I am showing you is my money. And like we can see, my portfolio has a total profit of 44.8%. And that's because I'm continually adding money into the market, which adjusts those margins when the calculations are done because I'm pushing money into the market as well. But there was an interesting conversation that I had with one of the fellow bag chasers where they were talking about their recommendation. So we're gonna do a deep dive into this, and it's a coin that I am no longer involved in. Reason being is the network is not it's not decentralized, and B, it crashes all the time, and I can't deal with my money just at random being locked up to where I don't have access to it. That's not a good deal for me. But we're going to talk about it because they are getting a lot of momentum. They have a really, really active and vibrant NFT community that is basically the movement of this coin at this point, because Most of the VC funding flooded out of the market during the last dip when SBF got busted. So let's take a look here. So like if we look at this one, and I always say this is a math deal. Like we can look at this. So this is the 24-hour chart. We can look at all the charting stuff once this moves a little bit faster. Okay. So they actually give you the comparison right here. So we're going to go ahead and turn these on. So let's see here. Hold on, which is which? Hold on. If we have BTC in. Okay. So, hold on. Actually, we can pull that out because that doesn't help us. That's not what we want. What we want are these numbers down here. So, when I tell people that your calls during a bull run don't matter, because during the bull run, we're all going to win. We are all going to win. If you can't hit a win during the actual bull run, of which we are not in yet, you shouldn't be in crypto. It's that easy. It's stupid. It's stupid easy. You can throw spaghetti at a wall and most of it sticks during that small window of time. But what we're looking at here, so on the 1 hour, nothing, not really, like no movement there. 7-day, we're up 5%. And we had this conversation about Sol when the price dipped down to 8. And I was like, I don't really have much faith in the market in this specific coin. And, people get real campy about their coins, which is ridiculous because we can just look. And what I'm going to show you is how to tell if somebody's just talking or if they know what they're talking about. So all of my positions, and I've said this multiple times, are just to accumulate Ethereum and Bitcoin. I'll explain to you why here in a second. But looking at this, we're looking at the 24-hour, cool, 0.2%, we're sideways. 1 hour, no movement. 14-day, minus 4%, whatever. That's really not that much in crypto. 30-day plus 12.3%. And on the yearly, we're down 75.4%. Keep note of those numbers, people. Okay, so now let's go to the boring. We're going to go to a boring coin, right? Hold on, scroll back up here. This thing is moving slow. Oh my goodness, it's so slow. Okay, here we go. So let's get into here. We're going to look up one of the old boring coins. Number 2. This is number 2 coin. Boring, right? Let's get over here. We're going to scroll down. Okay. So, on the 1 hour, nothing. 24-hour, basically nothing. A little sideways down movement. Like that's sideways. That's nothing. 7-day, 1%. Basically nothing. 14-day, we're down 9%. I'll be generous. Round that up to 10%. A little bit down motion. 30-day, 5.7%. On the 1 year, we're down 32.7% on the yearly. Now, the reason I bring this to your attention is you're in a better spot having been in this for the long term because this is a long-term holding. The less established networks, and this is across the board, and this is the reason I say I invest to get Ethereum and Bitcoin because those are my definitive longs. And I actually have Chainlink on that list as well. But my position in Chainlink has been so set that I haven't touched it because I've never let go of any of those coins. So I don't talk about it that much. It's just there on the back burner for when the time comes because it's the backbone of a lot of these platforms, especially if they have DeFi elements to them, to have a consensus on pricing. So, but priority for me is always Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, the reason I say this is during the bull run, you will get better gains off of your Solanas, off of your, pick your any other altcoin in the mix, unless you're unlucky and pick a bunch of scams. You have the potential to get better spikes in price off of those coins. Now, the way that I navigate is I do have altcoin positions. I don't really talk about them, and they're seldom in my top 10 because they're small plays. They're just like, hey, bull run, price spike, sell this off, walk away with my Ethereum and Bitcoin. I'm not believing in those projects being around long term. Now, the ones that are in my top 10, I think they're going to be around longer than most of the rest of them because, in my opinion, and it's just an opinion, they have actual utility beyond people who are literally trading in the market that are fickle walking away from them. So, like the stuff that you see in my top 10, there is a majority of those positions will be sold off into Bitcoin and Ethereum. But those are coins that you will regularly see. Like if we did like a full scope of like every coin that I owned, there's always going to be a larger position of those in my portfolio than, say, a Dogecoin or a Shiba Inu or basically anything else that's not Chainlink. Because like I haven't bought any Chainlink this year, but if we were to do a breakdown of the entire portfolio, that would probably be a third or fourth place holding easily, with Bitcoin being number one, Ethereum being number two. Now, when we're looking at it from a whole, so that's the reason I'm like, when people want to talk about their coins, I'm like, I don't hate on projects, but like if you're going to talk fundamentals and like actual technicals, then take your emotion out of it, because this is just math. Math does not lie. Math does not have feelings. Numbers don't care about how you feel about your project. Like the project's performance is the project's performance. And over the long haul, nothing has outperformed Bitcoin, which is the boring one, the boringest one. Ethereum's coming close, but Bitcoin, on average, its entire existence has yielded 200% a year. That's just math. And that's saying some years are big years. Obviously, you're having years, big years. But the reality of the situation is, if you take those booms and busts, because Bitcoin doesn't have good years every year, but on average, if you spread the amount that it's gone up over the entirety of the coin's existence, it has produced 200% a year on average. Nobody else, no other coin, no other investment period's doing that. Period. So when I say like I'm building up, like I know that like during a bull run year, other coins will do and regularly do have more price spikes, have a better run for that small window of time than Bitcoin. But the reality of the situation is no other coin's been around as long as Bitcoin. Second to that is Ethereum. So until the math speaks otherwise, and there's nothing that's been consistently producing the way that Bitcoin and Ethereum have, it's just math. When I go back and I look and I'm like, cool, I'm converting these spikes into these other more stable things. And I mean, I'll tell you straight up, like during bull runs, I like to buy houses too. I like to convert my crypto, like some of those wins, into a house. Why? Because I'm not so arrogant as to think that I know everything. And at a certain point, you just go with what works. As far as crypto is concerned, Bitcoin and Ethereum are just what works. That's the narrative right now. Nothing has disproven that to this point mathematically with performance. And I'm totally willing to have that conversation if somebody wants to bring something to my attention that's also been around for over 10 years and has gotten through that phase. that has also produced the gains on average across the entirety of the project. That's I'm totally fine with that. That also isn't as affected by the dip. You know, like let's talk about it. But I haven't seen that. What I do know, having been in this field for 10 years, is that during the bull run, everybody wins. And the more speculative coins, you have a better opportunity to get larger wins. Don't get emotionally attached to the project during that time period. The things that have been consistent in the crypto market since the beginning of the crypto market have been Bitcoin and, secondly, Ethereum. Those are the two things that are consistent. Now, there are definitely other coins, like I said, like my third Chainlink. I like that coin. XRP has been doing what it's been doing. I mean, if there's a coin that's going to battle, if we're going to talk resilience, XRP is the resilient coin. Like, they've been fighting the fight, actively getting sued regularly for a long time, and they're still in existence. They're still there. So, also, not a favorite project of mine, but I give credit where credit's due. They've been duking it out. They've been in the dirt, in the mud, throwing punches, elbows, and everything, and they're still here. So I would even accept that as a stalwart at this point. Like it's I mean, I think at this point, with the way that they've set themselves up, the only thing they can do is make them not be in the United States, which most of their business isn't done in the United States anyway. So like that's kind of a moot point for that company. Even if they get pushed out of the US, they're not going to not exist. Like Ripple is not going to not exist. XRP is not going to not exist. They'll just IP block the US just like most of the other projects are now. And now the US is missing out on that. US investors are missing out on that opportunity. Life moves on. But during the bull run, the further down that list you are, the more opportunity there is. I'm just saying, pay attention to what you're doing with the money, and like, don't leave all your eggs in one single basket. Like, that is wild and crazy to me. And like, I've been seeing a lot of really nice cars around my area now that I'm noticing the license plate or crypto related license plate. Don't go blow it on a car, please. Please don't. Like, as volatile as this market is, like, converting into another tangible asset that can pay you versus getting a shiny car, I mean, might be a better play if you're trying to be wealthy. Like, I don't know. But moving on, I got a couple of news things for you. I'm gonna jump back over here real quick. We're gonna switch this layout around a little bit. Boom, we're gonna go here. Now we're gonna switch it over to this tab. This is for my MetaMask people. We got a couple of pieces of MetaMask news for you. I'm gonna switch it back. I'm gonna switch it back. Boom. Okay. My MetaMask users, Consensus reports data breach. There was a data breach with Consensus over one of their third-party vendors, and it's 7,000 wallets, which out of all the wallets, that's really a small percentage. And specifically, they're estimating 7,000 people, but the firm's report details who is at risk and what kinds of information might have been breached. Now, since I've been into crypto, I tell you what, I've been getting a lot of scam calls. I get them from Coinbase regularly, which is funny to me because I don't use that account. Haven't for years, but I've had one, and I'll normally keep it evergreen. I'll log in once a year to make sure that the stuff that they're requesting is up to date, and I keep it pushing. But Coinbase has had data breaches, which means that, like, if they've had a data breach, now those people who got your information know that you're involved in the crypto space. So they're just trying to basically do whatever they can do to get you ripped off. The other thing that I find interesting is it's either they're not from out of the country or people from within the country are also starting to do these scams now, where they call and pretend like they're customer support. Now, if you call me and you sound like you're from Pakistan or India and you're a customer support person calling me, I'm hanging up on you. And I know that is very biased, but 90%, I've never had a customer support person call me where I needed to talk to them, especially somebody who could barely speak the language, to understand what they were trying to convey to me, because I'm in America. I speak English. So the concept of somebody reaching out to me that can barely communicate with me has red flags all over it, because it's like, I can barely understand you, and like basically you're just asking me to divulge personal information that you could then use to steal my money. Not doing it, fam. Not happening. Not on this boat. But I did get one call. One of the scam calls was a very well-spoken English, and they almost got me until they got very pushy with me, like giving them login information and replying to this email that was basically a phishing email to collect information. I was like, oh, damn, snap. The Americans are doing this too now, or at least people that speak English enough and sound like they're from America enough to pass for them pretending to be here. But also, your boy doesn't catch those kinds of L's. We always double and triple check. You look at the email 9 times, you click on the link. Don't click on the link. You got to read through it. Then you got to log into your Coinbase account to find out if they're actually BSing you or not. Because me personally, when I was using Coinbase, I had 2 accounts. So there's a lot of stuff to sift through there, to where it's like I got a lot of red herrings out there to catch people trying to scam me out of stuff, and you should as well. The people who were affected, though, were people who used the customer service function on MetaMask, which is weird to me, only because this is a decentralized platform, supposedly. And if it's decentralized, like every time I've used a customer support function, like I've never had to give in a decentralized fashion. You don't generally have to give anything but your wallet address. If anyone's asking for your private keys, don't do it. Because if they have your keys, you basically just gave them the keys to your home and the title to your home. And now it's basically their home too. Not a good look. So when I'm looking at these types of articles, I'm like, who used the customer support function? Like, people actually do that with, like, I don't know. Like, I've been in crypto, like I said, 10 years. So when I came in, it was the Wild Wild West, which meant that you just didn't use customer support. Like, if you couldn't Google it or figure it out, like, you just kind of sat on that until you had to eat that L until you did figure it out. And like the concept of actually like using the customer support function, to me, just isn't there. Like, the OGs in this space, very self-reliant, very figure it out on your own. You don't get to go to someone to look for the answers, because technically speaking, anything you do to get your funds stolen, if you can't identify exactly who did it, you kind of just at a loss, because this is, like I said, and I mean, very much still is, we don't have proper regulation. Still the Wild Wild West. Like, you have to be accountable for your actions within this space 100%, because you're just dealing with your wallet basically in your pocket. Like, if you imagine your wallet filled with cash and you lost your wallet and someone found the wallet, like, you might get the wallet back, but you probably aren't getting that cash back. And the crypto within your hardware wallet, within your MetaMask, within your hot wallet, that's cash as far as it's concerned. And like, in this space, you don't even want the wallet back, because they always have access to it. So that wallet's burnt. Get out what you can and keep it pushing. So if you've used MetaMask customer support, you might want to do a little bit more research down here to figure out what they're needing people to do to be prepared for themselves. But like always, phone calls and random, like the new thing that they're doing now, there's just another random tidbit for those of you to help you kind of not get scammed. The interesting thing they're doing now with these scam calls is the number shows up and it'll have like a bank name on it. So like, I've gotten them and it'll ring, and you look at like the small print for the name on the caller ID and it says Bank of America. I haven't had a Bank of America account in over a decade. I don't bank with Bank of America. I don't like Bank of America. I don't use Bank of America. but they're calling me with customer support about an account, and I'm like, and then it'll be like, hey, we're calling about your Coinbase account. I'm like, why are you calling from Bank of America then? Oh well, I'm like, oh well, click, and then like it'll show up like Chase Bank. Sometimes don't have a bank account with them, don't have a card with them currently. Will have one here soon, but currently don't have one, and it's just wild to me. Like it's wild. So you gotta always be on the ready, because there are a lot of very creative people that, instead of using that creativity and that skill and that tenacity to get to the bag, they use that creativity, that skill, and that tenacity to steal your money. We don't want to participate in that. That's not what we want to be a part of. So stay vigilant, people. Okay. So we're gonna dial it in here for a second. We're gonna go to the next piece of news. I'm gonna switch it over. Boom, got me back in here. How are you guys liking this new camera angle? So like, it's weird because the way that I'm shooting these videos now, I can't see, like I have to like switch screens to see the screens. And it's the weird part of it is I was previously just screen recording, and then I got the feedback that I need to have my face on here because people like to put a face to the person who's talking to them, to giving them the information. So here I am with my face. I mean, you guys have seen me, like most of the people on my channel, you guys all showed up. You didn't show up from the channel of its own volition. You showed up over here because you saw me on panel, so people have seen me. Granted, now you're going to be seeing me with a much different view, much better camera angle. And we're going to have some different camera angles. I got some stuff to play with now because I didn't realize I didn't have to just use my MacBook camera, which is garbage. I can actually use the good camera. So this one I'm running this one off my iPhone. It's linked up to the computer, but I'm running the camera off the computer. So like I got to lower my computer down. I had to use the apparatus that I was using to raise my computer to now raise my phone. But that's okay, because we're gonna have some interesting stuff when I get my new computer desk. I'm gonna have to figure out some sort of platforming or something to get a better angle on this. But I'm liking this. I'm really digging it. So we're gonna be playing around with this. So this might be showing up all over this desk until I get done what I need done to have the experience I need to have. But I got a bunch of stuff ordered that's coming in that is a direct result of the people who have donated to the platform. So like there's going to be some community posts. I'll be posting about it as the stuff comes in, as we get it put together. We'll be doing some stuff there. Going to be doing some rearrangement of the studio space, which is a baby space right now, but we will be growing that out this next property. That is definitely something that I'm looking at as a priority. I got 2 priorities now, which is weird because I normally don't have a lot of priority things, but like I have to have fiber optic internet because I've been spoiled. I live in an area where we have Google Fiber. And I also have to have a studio space. Like I have to have a space that I can at least build out for the studio, because this is important. I think, in all honesty, at this point in the game, I have to have a studio / office space that I can be in to just work, because right now I don't have a dedicated workspace. And I've come to the realization that I don't like that. Like I want a space that I can come into where the energy changes, where I don't have to use motivation so much. Actually, this isn't even motivation. This is discipline, because like it's like the space that I'm in right now, like I'd be wanting to like go to bed, go watch TV, go do all sorts of other stuff. And like when I bought this place, I was not online like this. I think I was just barely. Oh no, I was getting into. I was like watching these live streams and like these panel conversations, but like I wasn't participating. So like that wasn't even something I was thinking about, period, when I bought this space. And then you get the space and it's like, okay, the next space that I get, this is what it needs to be. Which is cool. I like it. It's growth. That means that like a lot of stuff has changed for me in this time frame, which is great. But it is what it is. Shout outs Team Fatty. Okay, so now we're back to the second and last story. We are talking about Coinbase is suing the SEC. And their quote, we're absolutely convinced the SEC is violating the law. Now, the reason being, when we speak on Coinbase, and I'm not a big Coinbase fan or advocate, like they're very icky in the market. Like I feel like if you're on Coinbase, you're paying excessive fees. It's the most expensive exchange to use. It's a good starting exchange, but like if you haven't grown out of Coinbase after about a year, there's something wrong, in my opinion. Like you are either lazy, not perspicacious enough to see the writing on the wall that you're getting raked over the coals in fees. You don't like having opportunity to the full spectrum of what crypto has to offer, or you just need to be handheld. And if you need to be handheld, you should pay for that, which is what Coinbase does. But like for those of you who are perspicacious, for those of you who are in this camp, a part of this tribe, I think that you should probably set a deadline for your crypto experience with Coinbase to be about a year. And then you can keep your account on the back burner. But outside of maybe moving money into or out of the market, I'm not seeing the value in that. So that's just me. That's a personal opinion, and I understand if people don't share it. But I'm not a fan of paying extra for something that you could do somewhere else for darn near free or pennies. And that's just not what Coinbase is. So, but what they have been is very much in bed with the SEC themselves. Like they're the first ones to go, hey, tell us what we need to do so that we can get set up, so that way we can be straight. And the SEC gave them instructions. And the SEC, like they have footage of the head of the SEC giving a class on crypto where he himself out of his own mouth said most of these are not secure, don't qualify as securities. But he's in his position of power saying that everything's a security and extorting money and suing everyone and bringing trials, bringing bad publicity, just doing everything that he can to destroy the market, which makes sense considering this is a direct threat to the dollar by giving people freedom that we're supposed to have in America, but we don't have freedom of our finances at all by any means because we're at war with our country because they're trying to keep us as happy peasants, to put it politely. Well, after over a decade, because Coinbase was around when I first got into crypto, and it was the first exchange that I was on personally, because it was one of the ones where you first found out about as an American getting into crypto. And since then, they've just gone back and forth with the SEC. Like the rules are changing from what they're saying, what the SEC puts out. The companies do it, and then they change the rules and then sue the company. And they don't sue them immediately and be like, hey, this is wrong. This is how you fix it. Or, hey, we're going to have to take action if you don't do this, this, and this. They wait like years, and then they go back and they're like, yeah, by the way, we're suing you. Which is like the slimiest thing that you could possibly do, especially if like these people are begging and asking you for regulation, asking you for clarity, asking you to define things so that they can move forward with their businesses. And you're just not responding, giving information that changes in like 6 months after you said it. It doesn't make sense. Like none of this adds up. And I honestly believe that the SEC is archaic. The way that they define what a commodity versus a security is literally stuff from like the 1900s. Like we're still dealing with laws that are so old that nobody who was around when they were made is alive, basically. Like they're just old. They're just archaic, old, terribly old laws that were made in a time frame where they couldn't conceptualize the internet. They couldn't conceptualize NFTs, digital anything. I mean, CDs, decent cars, like any of this. Like they couldn't. But those are the rules that we're using, and they don't want to update it. They don't want to update the definitions of anything. They haven't modernized these rule sets. So we're just using archaic stuff where they couldn't even imagine the stuff that we have now, the capabilities we have now, what we can do now. But those are the rules that we're going with. And Coinbase said, finally, they were like, if they're not going to give us clarity, we're going to sue them for it because it needs to happen. So kudos to Coinbase. Still not my favorite platform, but I'm 100% in support of them in this venture because this will help the entire crypto space, period. And the SEC, as it's in its current iteration, as it's currently being utilized, as it's currently wielding its power to extort money out of businesses and create an environment where the United States is now facing brain drain because the best projects just are bypassing the US altogether because crypto is global. It doesn't have to be in the United States. But the United States hasn't gotten that memo yet. I mean, it's coming. It's coming. If you're not up on bricks, you might want to look it up because hens are coming home to roost at this point. But yeah, so kudos to Coinbase for hopefully getting us some sort of clarity so that way everybody knows and we can move on with our lives and like maybe we can stop making these companies that are going to be important in the future not be in the United States. Like we're isolating ourselves off from the rest of the world as far as technology and moving forward is concerned because the SEC has decided that that's what we're doing, which I'm guessing it has some sort of government influence on it, but I can't confirm nor deny that. But I can tell you this, I think it's what we're doing right now is creating an environment where we will be at a loss or at a disadvantage in the future. With that stated, we're going to go back to the last tab. Actually, I'm just going to bring myself back up to close this out. How about that? Boom. Okay. With that stated, we're going to get up out of here. For those of you who are seeing this on Sunday in the Bag Chasers, happy Sunday, guys. Hope you're prepping for the week. You're making it. Now, you're getting ready to make it one of the best weeks of your life. We're going to get some stuff done this week. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys are getting done. That's specific to the Bag Chasers. Those of you who are seeing it on Wednesday, if you want to chime in on it on Wednesday, absolutely let me know what you guys have gotten done this week because you're halfway through the week. Or better yet, for those of you who are catching this on Hump Day, what do you have left to do this week? Also, let me know what you think about the new camera angle in the camera. Like I'm digging it. It looks like it's a lot better. It's a lot better resolution. I kind of like it. Not gonna lie. Going to work on some angles. Like this is going to give me some opportunity to play with some stuff. It's going to be fun. If you are not a part of the Bag Chasers and you want to join to see this about 72 hours earlier, the link to that is at the top of the description. And I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but as we know, Ray is not the owner of that Patreon group. Ray just promotes it because he is a paying member of that Patreon group. And that is the Anton Daniels of AntonDaniels.com Patreon group. We the Bag Chasers. So shout out to y'all. Definitely, if you want to get this earlier, join that. Tell them old Reckless Ray Dinero sent you and give me a little shout out when you're signing up as to why you're there. Just let them know that, even though I'm always I'm a little bit disruptive, a little bit divisive, definitely not always in agreement, but I do support that network. I do like the networking piece of what we've got going on over here in the Bag Chasers. It's a really good group of people, a lot of really smart people passing through there, a lot of information. Again, if you want to get a hold of me, there is and also in the description right below the Patreon group, which is at the top, there is a link tree that has all my socials on it. You can get at me there. You can also email me directly at recklessraydinero@gmail.com. If you have not caught the memo down there at the bottom and followed at highvalue.net, or not, said that wrong, at highvaluenet, and join us over at High Value Network. I'm going to have some exclusive content over there, some exclusive shows that I will be doing specific for that platform. That won't be over here. We will also be doing panels, but most of those panels I'll be simul streaming, so you can catch it either way. But I'm gonna guess that the main shows that are over there, we're gonna promote everyone being in that chat to join in on the network, and I think that's the way we're going to do it moving forward. Wherever those shows are supposed to be living, we're only going to really worry about you get preferential treatment, because you know how I am with the chat. I love the chat. Everyone else always says stay out of the chat, but like if you're not promoting toxicity, if you're not having lowbrow conversations, the chat is your friend. The chat is where it's at. And over on Guns and Butter, which is my show, and the shows that we're planning on putting on over on High Value Net, the chat's going to be where it's at. Should be a lot of networking going on in the chat. A lot of interacting. Like the people that we're bringing together and the conversations we're having, I believe, are both important, and I believe it's an opportunity for us to network with people who are of like mind and moving in the same direction that we're moving in. So if you're not over on High Value Net, get over there, because we're going to have some stuff coming. Guns and Butter is already live over there. We are there every Thursday. Those of you seeing this Wednesday, tap in with me Thursday. I'm hosting Guns and Butter every Thursday. It's a live stream. We don't do a lot of crypto talk, but if there's people who wanted to talk crypto bag talk in the chat, we would talk crypto bag talk in the chat. Also, it's an open panel, so if you want to come up and talk crypto, we can definitely do that, because the chat directs where those conversations go most of the time. Also, the panelists get to a heavy weigh in. Like I give 2 topics normally, and beyond that, it's a little bit romper room. Like we do take suggestions, and we're going to be dialing that in a little bit further as far as like the amount of time that we have per topic. So I'm going to make it to where we're going to have dedicated time where the chat influences where those conversations go. Cause like I do want crowd participation, if you would. But anyways, it's your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero. If you're seeing this Sunday, getting ready for that week, let's go. Let's get it going. I'm actively doing that myself. If I'm catching you on Wednesday and it's hump day, if the week isn't going the way that you want it, it is not too late for you to change that. We're halfway through. Let's make it happen. Let's get it going. I'm hoping to see you guys down in the chat. It's your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are going to be signing out. But before we sign out, I got to hit y'all with a couple of clips to sign it out. And as you know, the Bag Chasers, we all about that money.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Got the chatter.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I pull up.